Okay, everybody. Okay, May 8th. Wow. Think about that now. January, February, March. We are in the second month of the second quarter. All right. I hope you guys are all doing what you're supposed to be doing and not, I did a little video this morning right before this call talking about looking for the opportunities versus looking for the problems. There are two types of people. You wake up in the morning, you start looking for the problems, you start looking for the excuses right away, or you look for the opportunities. I know the rates are higher. I know the market was better a year ago. We all know that. All right. But there's opportunities in this market too every single day. You just got to go out and find them. That's the key right now. All right. And let them complain. There are actually people out there that are in search of reasons to be offended. I'm convinced that's why people watch the news. Oh my God, did you see what he said and what she said or what they said? It drives me crazy. But anyway, people do it, and that's just so counterproductive. It's just, if you don't want to work that day, just say, I don't want to work today, instead of looking for a reason why you can't because of this and that. And it's all so much easier just to do your job. Now listen, I've muted you all, so in order to unmute, you have to hit *6, and I would like to because this is going to be, today's a question day. These are questions you need to always be asking yourself, okay? So maybe you want to jot these down or listen to this. I think I've got 12 of them. So I'm going to run through them kind of quick, and then I'm going to explain them all a little bit, and then I'll do a little synopsis at the end, but I want people to ask questions. These are questions I ask myself all the time too. Am I always learning? You could even turn that into, what's my plan for learning? All right, so am I always learning? Hopefully that's yes. If the answer is no, you look at there's so many studies on learning. It keeps you from getting all kinds of mental diseases too. Your brain is plastic. It's always growing or not, or regressing. Remember that in life, there is no coasting. Okay, you're never going to stay on the same plane. You're either going backwards or you're going forward. Okay, there is no, I'm just coasting. You can't coast uphill. You can't coast into the wind. All right, so the resistance is good. Look at resistance is what makes you, if you're going to the gym, it's what makes you healthy. It's what makes your muscles tear and grow and so forth. You need resistance. It's part of the gig. So am I always learning? That's number one. Here's the second one. Am I always growing? Now, I don't mean physically. Although if you're working out, maybe you are growing muscle-wise. All right, so are you always growing as a person? A lot of times you have friends and, you're growing and they're not. So, if you haven't, I don't know if it's ever happened to you. You talk to somebody you haven't talked to in 10 years and you realize, oh my God, I used to think just like that. I don't think like that anymore. That's the one great thing about being an entrepreneur. And if you're a real estate agent, you're an entrepreneur. You're a business for yourself, but not by yourself with this company. But you definitely have to have that type of, am I always learning? Am I always growing? Yes, that's number two. Here's number three. Am I always working on my attitude? There's also a plan for that. What are you doing to stay positive? All right. And I'm not talking about Pollyanna positive, although that's better than negative for sure. But I'm talking about just, do you have a routine for staying positive? Look, guys, in this world today, it's not that easy, okay, to stay. If you're watching TV and the news and shows, it's not that easy to stay positive because it's not really what sells. Like the news, they don't show positive news, are very rare because it doesn't sell. People want to hear the dirty laundry. Okay, so that's just the way it is. Right. So do you have a plan for your attitude? Are you reviewing your goals all the time? Are you on pace for your goals? Okay, so I think now anybody want to chime in, hit *6. I know my friend Murad's on here, and I know that he's always learning and growing and reading and showing up to every one of his coaching calls I've had. He's probably been on my coaching call for 7 years now, maybe 8. I think you've been here since, I've been here for 9, and I started the coaching relatively quick, and I think you've been in since the beginning. So anything you want to add or jump in, feel free, or if you have anything you want to add to what I've been saying, I think it's fine. Anybody else too, which I've got a small group today, so don't be afraid to jump in, hit *6 and we can hear you. Am I always reviewing my goals? All right, so I think that's critically important. You got to know why you're doing this. Look, I've told you this many times, and I still think about this every day. When I met Wayne Dyer, he told me, And I met him when he wrote the book, right after he wrote the book, Manifest Your Destiny. That's why I always recommend it to everybody, because it's one of those books that I'm always going to remember. It's also on YouTube for free if you want to listen to it, chapter by chapter. It just makes so much sense to me, the things he says. Like, you hold in your mind what your goal is, the universe will conspire to help you. But you have to hold it in your mind, regardless of what's going on. It can't be just on the good days. It has to be on all the days, even the days you don't feel like doing it. All right? All right, so am I always reviewing my goals? Okay, here's another one. Am I keeping my numbers so I can measure my growth? Like, where were you last year this time? I mean, are you ahead? Are you behind? Are you ahead? Are you behind your prospecting numbers, your appointments, your listings taken, listings sold, buyer sales? You know, I just think it's critically important to know all that. We have a number analyzer. You can get it from me. It's free. You know, my coaching is also free. If you want to get involved in my coaching, email my assistant, Lisa, L-I-S-A-P, at BHHSNV, like Nevada.com. Lisa P at BHHSNV.com. You can get in my coaching. And I have a lot of people in my coaching that keep track of their numbers and know that they're growing every single year. And, you know, I can think of a couple of people that have record years 5 years in a row now. That's pretty good. All right. And it's not based on the market, because the market has gotten better and worse and indifferent. It's based on their activities. So am I keeping my numbers? How about this one? Here's a big one. Am I always working to control my emotions? That's a tough one, because, you know, and that's good or bad. You know, even when it's good, you can't go crazy and take 3 days off, and, you know, unless it's a planned vacation, right? Because, you know, you're gonna have days where you're going to be working and you're not getting the results you want, and then you have days you're working and you're getting the results you want. Could you imagine if we actually did? Like, okay, so like I go to the gym in the morning and I have a workout on Monday. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I mix it up every now and then because it's the same body part, shoulders and abs on Monday for me. So, but I mix it up, but that's my routine. I know Monday is about shoulders. I know what Tuesday is about, and all the way down the line. All right. And I used to do the same thing with my prospecting. I used to call it the prospecting breakdown. I knew, and sometimes it would vary based on the market. Like right now, if I'm in Nevada, Arizona, or California, okay, I would declare war on the old expireds. It would be my farm. They'd be getting a neighborhood report from me, a newsletter. I'd be calling them, you know, at least once a quarter, checking in. I'd be treating them just like I do a farm, because I'm going to get a bunch of business out of there. Because I know in all our markets, there's thousands of homes that didn't go back on the market from November and December into January and February, and they haven't come back on yet. All right, so what are they doing? They're waiting because they watch the news, right? And they're waiting for the interest rates to come down. They don't realize that the market's still incredible right now. Anybody puts their home on the market, all right, you know, it's going to sell, and sometimes multiple offers. All right, so how about this one? Am I keeping the focus on myself? That doesn't mean selfish. Am I keeping meaning that I can't control what other people do. I can only control what I do. Well, you know, my kids and my spouse, it doesn't matter. I mean, of course, you're going to be involved and so forth, but the best way to solve any problem is to set an example, right? Be the person you're supposed to be doing. Don't you think that other people know when they're not supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing? Okay? Reminding them constantly probably isn't the best thing to do. Just do what you're supposed to be doing every day. All right, so am I keeping the focus on myself versus other people is that point. Okay. Am I taking responsibility for my own happiness and joy? No one else is going to do it. I mean, it's obviously nice if you have a partner in life or a spouse or whatever you want to call it, and kids, and right. But ultimately, you're responsible for your own happiness. And by creating happiness in other people's lives, you create happiness in your own. So am I taking responsibility for my own happiness and joy? Okay. Do I understand that the way I am in one area of my life is the way I am in all areas of my life? That was a tough one for me to agree with because I didn't agree with it at first. I was like, that's not true. I can cut corners over here. Then you realize, yeah, I'm kind of cutting corners over there too. So like me, I have very little patience, but I'm becoming more patient every day. I try to slow it down, and I know right away, okay, you guys may think this is funny, but does anybody else other than me have the insurance app? I go to Geico because Geico is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and if you go through the process, you'll get a discount by going to Geico, and they give you an app, and the app rates you. I'm going to be telling on myself right now. I know when my app like rating me, because the first place I notice I'm becoming impatient is the way I drive, right? I notice that all the time. I'm like, oh my God, why am I driving like this? And then I look at my little app and I'm at 79 or 80. When I stay in the high 80s, that's when I know I'm driving more like I should be. So I know that. So then I ask myself, see, the longer you put together good days, then you just start expecting things quicker. When sometimes your actions don't immediately correlate to your results. You got to be patient. Working out's like that. Eating right's like that. Anything is like that. Prospecting's like that. Okay? Having incredible customer service is like that. If you've had bad customer service for a while, it's going to take a while to fix it. But why wouldn't you spend the time to fix it? I always think that's interesting. I know right away by my app. It shows up on my phone. It says, hey, you were blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa, my app is telling me I'm being impatient. So I need to have more patience. All right. My little joke is in real estate, you need to have patience or you will become a patient. Right. So it's very true. I think in all of life, it's like that. Okay. Okay. And look at the next point too. It factors right into what I just said. Do I understand that just because I've changed my behavior doesn't mean it will affect my results right away? That's so true. It takes time. Everything takes time. So that's why, like if you read my little book, Success is a Verb, I think it's chapter 7, I talk about, you just got to be patient with the process. Matter of fact, find a way to fall in love with the process because the process guarantees the outcome. The process guarantees the outcome. That was for me, it was a little tougher to believe, like what Wayne Dyer said. Setting the intention, the universe lines up eventually. Remember I said earlier that if you have a goal in your mind and you are steadfast, meaning good day, bad day, indifferent, doesn't matter, the universe will conspire to help you. That took me a little while to accept. But the process guarantees the result. Okay, that one was a little easier for me to accept. All right. So, like if you're not meditating, do some meditating. If you're not, just take responsibility for what is bouncing around in your head. All right. And then understand that even when you start changing your thinking, even when you start changing your behavior, it still takes a while. Okay. So, and then look at this one, number 11. Do I understand that I am the subtotal of the people I associate with? That was another one that took me a hard time, a little bit to understand. Matter of fact, I just saw an interview, like when you're on Facebook, there was a Mark Zuckerberg, a little clip, and he says that. He says that, in college, when you leave college, the number one thing is, okay, who are you associating with? Because you're the sum total of the people you hang out with. Your job, your life, everything will be very consistent upon that. And I agree with that. So pay attention to who you're hanging out with. Because sometimes it's nice to hang around with people you're doing more than because it makes you feel better. And I've never got that one because I'm like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense if you think about it. Hang around with people, okay, that like play golf with people that are better than you. Play tennis with somebody that's better. You get better that way. So it's a little ego check, okay? And then my last one here today is, do I understand that not everyone will be excited about my success? Now, the people who are close to you, love you, cheering you on, they will. And that's how you always know who, who you really can trust and who you can, it's because of the people that are excited for your success. Not everybody is. Okay, so let's go through these now, and what I would say is write something down that you will take action on. Am I always learning? Are you reading every day? Do you listen to audiobooks? I mean, it can become a habit. It really can. Like, it's a habit for me. I know it's a habit, for a bunch of us on here. If you're not doing, like for instance, if you're spending time in the morning with the TV on, please stop doing that to yourself. Okay, that's just absolute crazy talk if you think about it. What can you possibly, is there anything you need to know on the news before you go to work? It's just like a massive, I just can't, myself, I was like, I would never do that. You can't start the day and have a wonderful day when you're thinking about that kind of stuff right off the bat, in my opinion. So like I know Murad and I, we pass books back and forth. We talk about books all the time on our coaching. And, I know that, look, become a little, I call myself an audio book junkie. I just, like, even if I run out of a book and I'm working out, I stop, go to the next one. Then there's a whole bunch of books I re-listen to, right? So, and sometimes I pick a book that's not great. It's not great, but it's still better than listening to the news or there's a couple I haven't finished. They just didn't make it. It just didn't do it for me, right? But you don't know until there's a whole bunch in there that do. All right, when I say in there, I mean in my Audible account. So what's your plan for learning? Next one is what's your plan for growing? Do you have a plan for that? Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, relationships. Am I always working on my attitude? Do you have affirmations? Okay, are you, I would say this is a good one for, are you doing meditation? I think that's, I don't know, like, I don't remember, it's been so long since I don't remember what it's like not to be meditating. And I'll even stop, like, if I have 10 minutes here and there, close my eyes at my desk, do a quick meditation. Okay, it's incredible when you visualize things, how much better it makes it worse, how it affects your attitude. So it's going through the day in like your own little bubble. I listen to audiobooks. I don't turn the radio on in my car. I just listen to audiobooks when I'm driving. Even on the weekends, I would rather learn and listen to great stuff. And now I love music. I have my music time too. I even play music. I even record music, but I have a scheduled time for that too. Are reviewing your goals. You have a business plan. Take it out. Mentally go through it. It's like setting the mental GPS. Okay. Are you keeping track of your numbers? Okay. This is usually where people go, okay, that's it. Can't do that. Yeah, you can. How many people did you talk to Friday? How many people did you talk to maybe this weekend? Maybe you keep track. I know people that take 2 days off during the week and work Saturday and Sunday. However you do it, don't work 7 days a week, please. But how many people are you talking to? Are you keeping track? How are your conversations going? Right, I'm not telling you to add anything. Just keep track of what you're doing. All right. If you've never done a time and motion study, which drives a lot of people crazy, like keep a pad of paper, or maybe you can even do it on your phone. Every 30 minutes, write down what you just did, or put it into your notes of your phone. What did you just do the last 30 minutes? Every 30 minutes, do that. That's an eye opener, especially for independent contractors like us. Am I always working at controlling my emotions? What are you doing for that? I can tell you eating wrong is really bad for that. Not working out is really bad for that. Talking to people who you know are going to drive you crazy. Like, I have a person I talk to a lot, and I can't believe the things that come out of this person's mouth. If I thought like that, I would probably run myself over in the parking lot. I'm like, I don't understand where you call somebody and they just immediately get into what this person gets into. It's not good. It's not terrible, but I just don't understand the main focus. I just don't understand it. I could never do that. Think about this. I think what the word we're talking about is gratitude. If you're grateful for where you are, I think you focus on different things. I think we forget this. Think about this. It's not even, and honestly, this is what I do when I start, everybody, you start feeling sorry for yourself, or you're not having a great day, or things aren't going. I have to remind myself, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard me say this before, but I have to remind myself that just the fact that I'm alive is amazing. It's like you've already won a lottery. The chances of you becoming a human based on the process, okay, the amount of cells fighting, okay, to become a person is amazing. You've already won that. That already means you're an unbelievable winner, number one. Number two, you're on a planet tilted on an axis, spinning at a bazillion miles an hour, flying through a universe around a sun, creating you see where I'm going? The ecosystem we have, and then we complain because I didn't get a listing. If you think about it and you put it in perspective, it's pretty crazy when you're trying to have a bad day, when it's a lot easier just to have a good day. Now, listen, I understand because I've been there when you can't pay your bills and you're having a hard time, and that's very easier said than done. That's why it's even more important that you do the things that cause you to make money in this business. Because number one, you feel incredibly good about yourself. Number two, you start to see that there is a pattern. There is a way to be super consistent. Okay? And then, all right, it multiplies on top of itself. And then you just find new ways to be upset with yourself or new problems. The problem of I got to pay my taxes is way different than I got to pay my car payment. The problem of is, okay, how am I going to fund my retirement fund is way different than I got to pay my taxes. You see what I'm saying? Your problems keep going up and up and up and change, but you're always going to have problems. The quality of them just change based on what you've been doing and what kind of foundation you've laid. Okay? So you guys can go through all of these. Does anybody have any questions? Murad, how about you? Anything you want to add to this? You usually have some good insight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was going to add, we need to have an established solid routine, like a morning, like a routine of brushing your teeth and taking a shower and putting new clothes. You're going to have a routine of simple things that help you succeed and go forward in life. Meditate, it's one of them. Reflect on yourself, yep. And then learn with a purpose. That means anywhere you go, you have a conversation, want to improve in any of the fields, either how doing proper CMA or knowing more about the neighborhood. Make it with a purpose, with intent. Even when you have a conversation with a client or with a friend, have a conversation with intent, with a purpose, to get curious about them. How can you provide something positive to them? What of service can you be? And then the money will come afterwards. That's just a natural outcome.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. Now, is there a book? Is there a process? Is there something that you can recommend on meditation?
Oh boy, there's so many resources. You just got to start somewhere. It's just small steps. Just learning how to walk. Meditation, even if it starts with 5 seconds and then you increase slowly till you reach 4 or 5 minutes, half an hour, whatever suits you. And you meditate on yourself. Always envision something positive. Always envision and meditate about something you want to accomplish. Do not think or focus of anything negative or you want to avoid, because somehow the subconscious cannot differentiate between yes or no. Whatever the thought, the goal you put in, that's where the subconscious will head to. It's similar to a skier. Like you say, I'm not going to hit a tree, I don't want to hit a tree in a tree, you end up hitting a tree. But if you focus just on the path, you'll find the path. Even if it sounds dangerous, obscure, not immediately clear, there is always a path.
Right. No, I agree with that 100%. And, it's like that what you just said reminded me of when I went to the Speedway. You can buy a Porsche or buy a Lamborghini, and you can go on the Speedway and you have a professional driver sitting right next to you telling you what to do. And when I did it, there's cones. They have cones set up. So he tells you, I'm going to tell you to look at the cone in front of us. And as soon as we get close to that cone, I'm going to ask you to look at the next cone. So when we stopped, I asked him, he goes, because a lot of people look around and, you're going to stare where you're looking. It's human nature. You don't even notice you're doing it. And I think basically that's what you just said too. You tell the universe, I don't want to be poor. All the universe hears is poor. You can't, your affirmations and your thinking have to be positive. Okay, so how do you think? I want to make this much amount of money. I want to be wealthy. So you have to, change your way of thinking and your self-talk around that, because that's the direction you're going to go. Very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, my man. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. Well, Vic, yeah, thank you. Anybody else before I call it? Anybody else have anything they want to ask, say, interject? Interject now or forever hold your peace.
On the universe, Rick, where you're spinning in the universe, at spinning around the sun. That's a good perspective. Yep. That shoot, you can't beat that.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. Yes, I agree.
It's been a while. I'm good. I'm trying to fight through a little freaking allergy, I think, but all's good, man. Woke up breathing, so I'm cool.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's a good perspective. Yeah. No, me too. Like last night about 7:30, I said I can't keep my eyes open. Because I've never had allergies. I come from the Northeast where it gets green, right? And you can see the pollen on your car and floating on the water. Here, and I never had allergies there. Here, I moved here, and now this time of year for about 2 to 4 weeks, I have this little bit of allergy thing going on because it's kind of crazy here.
Yeah, a little bit. Just that little window, but you just gotta plug through it and deal with it.
Yep. Generic Zyrtec. That's my recommendation for anybody out there.
Okay.
Also, when I first moved here, you know what they had me do, and I still do this a little bit. You go to like a Whole Foods, or you go to an all natural place, and they sell this Vegas potion, and it has all the local pollens and everything that a lot of people aren't used to that move here. And I did that for my first 2 years, and I think that helped out a lot. And now, from the farmer's market, my wife, the nurse practitioner, she makes sure we have local honey. Because you're introducing into your system a little bit of the stuff that gives you the allergies. So anybody has allergies,
the natural raw honey. I was just talking to somebody about that.
Yeah.
I was just in Costco a couple days ago and saw a big thing of natural honey, and I'm like, I should get that. That's a good. I put that on the list. There you go.
So now here's the thing. You have to go to a farmer's market. Because the all natural Costco, that could come from Michigan, and Michigan pollen. You have to get the local. Like we go to Summerlin. It's every Saturday morning. They have that farmer's market.
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah. And there's a guy there that sells honey, and that's the local stuff. And that's what you're gonna. And for some people it works. I think for most people it works. But I know it's helped me out tremendously. Yeah, I make sure, because I do the same thing, Darren. I have the honey, the raw honey from Costco, and I use that in my oatmeal, but I still have a little bit of that honey that my wife actually uses for her tea, and I take a little scoop of that 2-3 times a week just to make sure I'm getting that into the system, especially this time of year.
That's great. And that's, we're not too far from there, so that's easy to get to Saturday morning. Cool, man. I appreciate that. Awesome.
All right, buddy. Keep it rocking. Feel better.
Hey,
everybody, we'll
Rick,
do this
thanks
again
a lot,
in a week.
dude. Have a great day, man. Appreciate it.
You too, my man. Talk to you soon.
All right. You got it. Okay. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.